Have you ever been with someone who just seems to always be optimistic or just so positive that it almost feels like they're not even living in reality? I'll be honest that sometimes it's been known to be me at some certain points just because I'm such a positive person, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're really living out of reality. It just means that you focus on things a little bit different. And so this is where I want to go ahead and just share a little bit of things that you can start to do to kind of change, I don't want to say twist, but change your level of thinking on things that are negative, but then more shifting them to see things that are more positive. And one of the things I want to make sure that I make a little bit of a disclaimer, I'm not telling you to live in a fantasy world where things are just so sunshine and rainbows, but really I just want you to start to focus on some of the things that might be where the sunshine is or where the rainbows are, even though we got some clouds and some other stuff that might be going on with it. So let's go through some things. I want to go through 5 things that you can start to do on a daily basis that will help you to transition more of the negative thinking and thoughts and transition them into more of the positive thinking and optimism here. So let's jump through some of these things. So the first thing is positive affirmations. Now a lot of times people have negative thoughts towards themselves, and it really creates this vicious cycle, and it creates their lifestyle and the way of living in more of a negative way. And so there's 3 different statements that I always talk about. One is going to be identity statements, the second is habit statements, and the third is future statements. So let's go ahead and break some of this stuff down. So identity statements. So a lot of times people have these certain thoughts about themselves, and they oftentimes put themselves down like, man, I'm always clumsy, or man, I just can't ever get anything right, or the way I look is just weird or awkward, or whatever the circumstances. We all have those types of thoughts. And so instead of thinking about those things, I want you to create identity statements on things that are positive about yourself. Things like, man, I am honest, I am funny, I am loved, so they're identity statements about your character, about things that, are positive about yourself, like, man, I got a full head of hair, or I have all of my teeth, or whatever the circumstance, whatever it is that you can find that's positive. Just take some time and think about some things that you have some positive characteristics where maybe you have a great sense of humor, or maybe you are just very intelligent, whatever it is. Just think of some identity statements that you can claim about yourself that are very positive and optimistic here. The habit statement. Now this is stuff that I would say is looking for habits that you have that are positive. Again, you can focus on so many of the negative things and all these circumstances around you, but when you can start thinking of like, I exercise 5 times a week. That is a claim about yourself, even if you're not quite there yet, but it is a claim about your activities and your habits, and it just starts to make you think like, I eat healthy and I eat vegetables every single day, or I get plenty of sleep often, or I forgive often. That's a good habit to form as well. And so those are things that you can look at yourself in the mirror and start to claim those habits about yourself. Future statements, when you're maybe preparing to get a job, you're going to claim that I will get this job, or you're going to go ahead and claim things about school, or even just, financially, I will get out of debt. That's something I have to claim about myself, is I will get out of student debt, just because I still have a lot. So it's just one of those things and circumstances that we do have those things in our life that are negative circumstances, but oftentimes if you can just claim, I will get through this, man, you're going to just start to be more motivated to get through the day because you're trying to accomplish something and push through something, and you claim that you will be able to. So those are the 3 types of positive affirmations: identity statements, habit statements, and future statements. Now, the next thing I want to go ahead and talk about, the second thing you can start working on, is just reducing the negative people in your life or the time that you spend with them. So I don't ever want to say eliminate or get rid of someone, because sometimes that's just not possible, and I don't always recommend that. But reducing the time that you have with those types of people, because whether they be gossiping or lying or cheating or whatever it is, or just maybe they're just negative people and just looking at all the ways of life and they're looking at all that stuff and becoming negative about that. There's a motivational speaker named Jim Rohn, and he said that you become the average of the 5 people that you're closest to. And that's not just in the way of thinking, but that's oftentimes in your financial income. That's oftentimes the way that you dress, the house that you live in every aspect of life. If you take those 5 people that you're living or are surrounded by most often, you're going to start to see that there's some very similar traits around that as well. And so think about the 5 people that you are close interacted with, and really think about, is this the best people that I should be working with or hanging out with? Or should I start to look for other people that will help me to improve my life and improve my quality of living? And again, I don't want to say to ever eliminate those people, because sometimes that might be a spouse or a parent or a sibling or a child or whatever the circumstance, and you don't ever want to eliminate those types of people in your life, but sometimes just spending a little bit less time with certain people in our life can really help to increase our optimism and really just our positivity overall. The third thing is positive sources of information. Now, a lot of times we spend a lot of our time without even really thinking about what we're doing. So we might just be having a habit where we come home after a long day and all of a sudden we just turn on the news and we just watch the news and listen to all the negative feedback that comes into our life. Or even maybe it's the music that we listen to or the podcast or whatever the circumstance. You're bringing in information into your body and into your mind, and when you actually bring that information, whatever goes in oftentimes will start to come out of us. And so if you can start to surround your life with positive information that comes into your life, whether it be podcasts, whether it be motivational, inspirational speakers, or maybe it's just going to church and having a positive message coming into your life. Whatever goes in will start to come out. Maybe it's the books that you read, all these different things. You want to start looking and taking inventory of what comes into your life, whether it be through the internet, whether it be through books, whether it be through the radio, whatever it is that you're watching. Take inventory of all that stuff and start to think, man, is this maybe impacting my negativity or my mood or my energy or my outlook in life? And start to look at that and start to see if there's maybe some things that we can start to change or tweak just a little bit, or maybe a lot depending on your circumstance, just to get your body and your mind thinking more positive. And so the other thing is, the fourth thing I want to talk about is practice finding and identifying something positive in every circumstance. Now, this is really challenging for some people. I'm very guilty of this. I'm very positive in terms of circumstances in many different ways, and it's one of those things that sometimes some people will say it might be a flaw of mine. Is just I just look at so many circumstances and see positivity everywhere, even though through it's maybe the worst of the worst circumstance, I'm always looking for, man, what is the positive that I can learn from this, and really keep myself uplifted and keep my mood raised, just because I want to make sure that I'm not just allowing myself to just go into this hole and get this vicious cycle. And sometimes, again, I want to make sure that it's very clear that sometimes it's necessary for us to realize and see just the negative in that circumstance. But if you just leave yourself there without looking at some of the positive things, that, okay, well, maybe this is a positive circumstance from this circumstance or this situation. Sometimes if you just leave yourself in that negative state, man, it's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse, and we don't want that to happen. This is where oftentimes we can think of, man, like the cup is half full. Even like in circumstances like the weather's changing, man, I'm looking forward to the rain in this weather, because, man, it's going to bring in new life. It's going to clear out a lot of the dead and a lot of the dirt and a lot of the other circumstances in the air. All the pollution is going to help to just kind of clean all that stuff out, and it's going to start to bring in new life. It's going to bring in more green into the trees and into the grass. It's going to help to bring in more flowers, and to me it energizes me, and it's because I look at the positive that comes with it. Now, other people on that other end might look at it as like, well, it's so dark, it's so gloomy, it's so, so again, what side of the glass are you looking at? Are you looking at the glass half full, or are you looking at it half empty? So looking at that, even hot weather, maybe it's the summer, right? We're in 115 degree weather, and you can again start to focus on, man, it's just so hot. Or you can be like, man, I'm so thankful for air conditioning, not just in the house, but in a car. Man, I can't imagine how people did it before then, but man, I'm so grateful that I have the air conditioning that I'm able to turn on as low as 60 to whatever degrees you want it to be. But man, I am so thankful for that. Or it's nice that we have like these warmer weathers, because then I get to hang out more at night and just be able to, look at the stars and not feel so cold or chilled and all that other stuff. Or maybe it's a great time to go to the beach and enjoy some time in the ocean, or whatever the circumstance. But you can look at all the positive circumstances that comes with every situation here. And so that's really a challenge and an exercise that I want to give you guys, is practice finding in every circumstance throughout your day just the positive in every circumstance. Even if I had a flat tire, I'd just be like, man, at least I get to slow down and I don't have to rush to go wherever I'm going. So I get to take a step back and just think of just all the things that I'm grateful for. So I mean, there's every circumstance that there is a negative aspect to it, but then also there's some positivity that you can find if you look hard enough. So exercise doing that. And then the last thing is laughing. Now, that is a great thing to do if you are negative and you're feeling down and you're just stuck in this vicious cycle. Thinking of some things that you can start to find that, man, what do I enjoy in life? What makes me happy? What makes me filled with laughter? Whether it be a funny movie, maybe it's just looking for some movies that you really like and start watching some movies. They say laughter is the best form of medicine, and so just looking for things that you can find that are funny and really bring your joy. Maybe it's watching a funny movie or a comedy. Maybe it's playing board games with your family, or maybe with some friends. Or maybe it's just, having a great conversation with a friend. Maybe we need to have more interactions instead of being so isolated. Maybe it's about going out and actually having some communication and some conversations with some good people. Being spontaneous could actually help you to find laughter, because sometimes when we're so structured and we're so rigid in our schedule, we can just be so go, and we never find that time to take a step back and to find joy in life. So being spontaneous can sometimes help us to find that laughter. And then the last thing I want to say is smiling. Smiling is one of the best things that you can do to make yourself become happy. Sometimes we're just so tied up and so tense that we just don't allow ourselves to smile. It's almost like we're just not allowing it. So almost like letting your guard down and allowing yourself to look at, again, the positive situation in every circumstance, but really just allowing yourself to smile. And honestly, even if you just to kind of force a smile, that will even kind of be awkward enough to make you laugh and smile even more. So one of those things that I would say is just putting on a smile as big as you can, not to the point where you look kind of crazy, where you're just like, but if you can just let that smile show, let some teeth show, and just let yourself laugh if you can. Just finding a positive thing that you really find joyful, and just going out and just enjoying life and just getting yourself to be able to smile and laugh. So that's it really when it comes down to helping ourselves to transition from that negative thinking and into more of a positive thinking or mindset. So again, the 5 things are positive affirmation, reducing the time with negative people in our life, positive source of information, practice and exercising to find and identify something positive in every circumstance, and then the last one is being able to laugh and smile. So I hope that helped you guys in terms of your mindset, and please let us know your feedback. We'd really love to hear from you, but please, if you haven't already, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, like this video if you liked it, and then also just give us your feedback. We'd love to hear it. So thank you for watching. See you on the next video. God bless. Peace.